By chance, the robbery comes out within 3 minutes. Deputy goes on behind the car. Yeah, the guy was able to get away and get on foot. Literally, the car's actually at the station right now. And it was crazy.
I have a mini mic.
That we're gonna do
So
what?
it can hear you guys talking on the live stream.
So we just set it here?
Yeah, and if you guys feel like picking it up and being talking,
Or
you
just
can.
set it here?
Otherwise, setting it here, at least pick it up from there.
I'm
gonna.
If you set it there, we can set it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll set it right there. Thank you. Yeah, so that when she streams it, because everybody's been complaining that although they can see it, the sound was terrible. Right. Hey, Eddie. How are you? Hi, Bill. No, it was here, but I don't remember when they came. Do you remember the first time the Jim and the crew showed up here? Because we went to their meeting in September. Okay, so oh, it won't be that one. Just say early in the winter. You know what I mean? You don't have to be exact.
Hello, how are you? Good to see you.
A minute or two.
We've all been through it. Hello, my friend. How are you? For another. I didn't forget my glasses.
Yeah, we all got
Hello, how are you? Good, how are you?
Staff? Should we keep the stat open for staff or? It's okay? Okay. This side here? Please, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay, guys. Go ahead. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and, at 6 o'clock, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. Hello? Who are the troublemakers, my co-counsel? All right, we're gonna go ahead and start, with the Pledge of Allegiance. Mark, do you wanna lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Justice for all.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start with roll call, and usually we also make our way around the room. So I'm gonna start. Julie Casserly, Chair.
Sam Toski, member.
Hello, Rifle, co-chair.
Mark Stover, member.
Pat Cooper, Office of Supervisor Press.
Lamont Reed, Code Enforcement.
Daisy Ramirez, RUHS Public Health.
Tony Thomas, Tammy Run Road.
And if we can just go to the back there, please. Okay. Yes, please. Anybody that wants to talk, please.
Josh Olmsted, Senior, ESC, Manager, Psychiatric Emergency Management.
Thank you. Is TLMA in the house? No?
Transportation.
Mendoza, Transportation Department out of Palm Desert.
Thank you.
Maricela Paulo, County Transportation Department, Desert Office.
Thank you.
Dave Logan's got a Brian Macy, Mission Spring Water District.
John Aguilar, CDWD.
Scott Burrick, Coachella Valley Water District.
Best Valley, Coachella Valley Water District. Jim Barrett, General Manager, CDWD.
Georgia Valerie McKay, Sky Valley Resort. Claire Thomas, Sky Valley resident. Regina Renaway, Sky Valley.
Jim Sullivan, Jim Highway.
Lisa Toski, Paradise Avenue. Joyce Redding, Sky Valley. And Richmond, Sky Valley resident.
Richard Martin on Norman Boulevard. In Como, Holman Lake.
Okay, welcome everybody. Do you want to get the door closed? Yeah. Welcome everybody. Appreciate all of you showing up tonight. We're going to go ahead and go on to approval of the minutes from our March 10, 2026 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So,
We can, yeah, we gotta get somebody else second. Just take care of it all yourself. You a second? All right, so thank you so much. Any council member reports and comments at this time? Yeah, we'll wait for you. Thank you.
You know, there are two outstanding applications for general plan amendments, one on Bennett, one on Sky Ridge. So I reached out to the planning staff members assigned to each of these to find out if there's any update. The answer is no. The one on Sky Ridge, Mr. Lincoln, the staff member, said he has reached out to the applicants but has heard nothing back. And Elizabeth
Mora Rodriguez.
She said that they have not set any kind of a date for the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. We'll go on to item 6, which is staff reports, and we'll start with Sheriff's Department, please.
Good evening, Sky Valley. I'm Sergeant Edward Santos. I'm the Administrative Sergeant at Conversation. I will start off with the crime statistics for the area of Sky Valley. So this is from March 10th, 2026 to May 5th, 2026. Calls for service showed 365. Written reports reports for 358, which is 98%. 6 stolen vehicle reports, 5 battery domestic reports, 20 theft reports, including vehicle burglaries, 2 burglar reports, which includes residences. Disturbing the peace is 88, miscellaneous reports 30, and off-road vehicle calls is 7.
Any questions, anybody, for Sheriff's Department? Nope? Okay. I saw that hammer in the back. It looked like someone's arm, but it's not, so we're good. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to, I do not believe we have anyone from Highway Patrol this evening. So we'll move on to our favorite code enforcement officer, Mr.
Awesome. I didn't know if that was a compliment or was that a party.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. How are you? Very well.
Thank you. We can share if we need. Sure.
Thank you.
Got 2 more. 1, 2, here we go.
Does it? Yeah.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lamont Reed. I am your code enforcement officer for the unincorporated areas of Desert Hot Springs and Sky Valley. I'm that guy, only the guy. Okay, and really enjoy my area. I enjoy the unincorporated areas of DHS, and I do enjoy Sky Valley, the little piece that we have, to continue to go out and take care of any issues, complaints, or violations that may come about. The data that I pulled, I went back to March 1st. I believe our last meeting was March 10th, but I just scaled it back to March 1st. I am proud to share with you. Many of you heard me say 200s. Boy, I have 200 caseload. Well, I've been cranking, man. I'm down to 167 cases right now. So we're pushing, really pushing to get these cases closed out, or to at least get any violations that are current, to actually get those violations closed out. I did mention at the last meeting that I have 3, 4, maybe 5 different options now as a code enforcement officer to be able to use to violate a property or someone that's actually in violation. So first we start with a notice of violation. That's a 30-day timetable based on the offense. And then we move over to a follow-up, we conduct a follow-up. If the violation is not complete by the time we do our 30-day follow-up, then all of a sudden you have some administrative actions coming from the county. After that 30 days, we have the option to write $100 citations. That's waking them up pretty well right now. Well, I got something else hanging on my gate. So then there's a $100 citation, $200, then it goes up to $500. They're on their fork. So we think it's getting a little bit of people to kind of wake up and come on and take care of business. So I appreciate your patience. With the total cases, we have 72 cases that are in alleged. 8 of them are accumulated rubbish. 8 are accumulated rubbish. 18 are construction without permit. 3 were for NPDES, meaning that it's at least a discharge into the water table. So only water goes in the water table is rainwater. Anything else has to be questioned. We got to question why we have gray water or whatever type of water besides rainwater. So there's 3 of those violations, which I'll have those taken care of by our next meeting, but I should have 3 more by then. We do have our other enforcement, which could be noise, it could be lighting, it could be other things. Thank you guys. So we have 0 substandard structure alleged complaints in so far. And what we'll talk about once I get down to my bottom numbers are zoning. I have 42 alleged zoning cases. That's our high cases. So that's why I'll be digging in after I get through the accumulated rubbish cases. Totally in violation, we have 95 cases that are in violation, and we have 72 that are alleged. Again, the numbers for the cases that are in violation: 37 zoning cases and 34 accumulated rubbish cases. 17 is not too bad for our construction without permit. Those are manageable, but the accumulated rubbish and the zoning cases are very, very high. So I'm going to work on something similar to try to work on and see how to get those numbers down as well, but I'm definitely working those numbers. Total open cases since January 1st to today, 22 open cases. Thank you very much for taking the light on me, guys. 22 open cases. And closed cases since our last meeting, 59. 59 closed cases. Mr. Barker, I see you. I
Yes.
want to wave at you out there when I see you. Yes, sir.
Who's the support for you to mitigate these issues? You mentioned the county.
Mhm.
Who are the departments or the support that you get to make sure that it takes some of the load off of you? You can issue citations all you want. Some people just.
Yeah, yeah.
So, can you just give us like just a brief overview of whether departments support you in this?
Well, so RSO is always there, right? So I got my radio on, and if I need to go and have them mark my location, I can keep the RSO in the loop. But I also talk with the RSO officers that patrol the area as well. So if I ever needed anything and they needed enforcement, they would take the time out to go and assist me. The other, I do have animal control, animal services on speed dial. Have not had very much interaction because just I don't want to overload them. I think they're working through some of the things that they have there as far as the amount of animals there. So I try to at least get advice from animal services. Environmental health I deal with quite a bit. I deal with HCD, which is Housing Community Development. Mr. Barker, as you would know, the mobile home parks are actually governed between environmental health and HCD, so I have to partner between them to do any type of violations within those parks. And then last but not least, we have our supervisor team. So my code enforcement director, all the way down to the managers and supervisors are there to assist with anything that I might be stuck on. And they're actually assisting with something as we speak, and it's being taken care of as we speak. So leadership's giving me that support to be able to give me some top cover. Sir.
Who gets the violation? The property address or the homeowner?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I'm digging in my notes here. So who gets the violation? The violation, I'm looking for the property owner. Okay, I'm looking for the property owner. Most tenants can't tell me very much. I need to find a property owner. Most tenants are not going to move the needle. Property owner is going to move the needle. So I have to do my due diligence and actually do a deep dive, go through county records, official records, assessor's records that we have as tools to go through and find the owner of the property.
Okay,
Thank you.
that it? You're getting off easy tonight, aren't you?
I am. No, they'll see me at the end.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. And I do not believe CAL FIRE is here this evening or Animal Services. So we're going to go on to Pat. I think you're going to do the report for CSA 104, Economic Development.
Yes.
Yes.
So the message from David Alvarez is, I have provided a quick update below for the CSA 104 Advisory Committee. CSA 104 Sky Valley current cash fund balance is $585,000 to the end of fiscal year 2025-2026. We have spent $115,000 in road maintenance this fiscal year with county transportation. $75,000 paid to county transportation already, $40,000 remaining balance. Roy Allen slurry seal completed the slurry seal on Henry Ford for $60,000. Safari Road chip seal approved for $25,000, scheduled for this summer, August of 2026. Obtaining a chip seal estimate for Paradise Road to vote on at the next committee meeting. That's it.
Any questions, anybody? Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Riverside County Public Health. It's Daisy Ramirez.
All right, Daisy Ramirez Bell with our UHS Public Health. I have a few updates and education. With May being High Blood Pressure Awareness Month, I wanted to bring awareness and different flyers about the importance and the consequences of high blood pressure. If you haven't, or if you don't know your numbers, it's very important that you do take your blood pressure to see if you're within normal range. There are different consequences of high blood pressure, including stroke, dementia, vision loss, heart failure. So we just want to make sure that if you haven't gotten your physical, your yearly physical, that you do. I'm talking specifically to a lot of the men out there that may not want to go and seek medical care. So just want to mention that. I also have information about what to know about hantavirus. That's something that we've been hearing a lot about. Under our RUHS Public Health Instagram, Facebook, as well as website, we do have information about what to know about hantavirus. I just want to read a little bit about what it says here. It says, hantavirus is a virus that spreads through urine, droppings, or saliva of wild rodents. And hantavirus can cause serious disease in humans. Hantavirus is rare but can exist in California and Riverside County. However, there are different variants of hantavirus, and the current cruise ship Andes variant is not the variant that is found in California. Currently, the risk from global cruise outbreak to Riverside County residents is very low. So just wanted to share this information. So we do have it on the website, our social media, our PIO has provided this information. And this year, RUHS Public Health, which is basically the County of Riverside Department of Public Health, is celebrating 100 years of public health excellence. So for 100 years, we have been the Department of Public Health for Riverside County. And we're honoring our past and shaping our future. We are holding a youth video contest for young adults ages between 13 to 25. There's different categories and awards per category open to college age, college, clubs, youth programs, etc. And deadline is June 30th. So we are inviting anyone who may want to create a video in honor of our 100 years of public health excellence. So we have information on that. We share our monthly sample of public health data, and that's something that I shared before. For the month of April, some of the statistics that were pulled include the top 10 causes of premature mortality. Number one, we still have drug overdose as being number one, and I have shared about naloxone, which is a medication that is used to override overdoses due to opioid use or fentanyl poisoning, whether it's prescription or illicit drugs. I do have more if you are interested in carrying it, whether it be for a family member or someone that you know is on opioids, again, illicit or prescribed. So I do have that on hand. Second is road injury, and the third being ischemic heart disease, and that's hence the high blood pressure and heart health. So we have that. And if you're interested in learning more or past issues, we do have a QR code that can take you to the past issues that we have on our website. And I have that on here on the table. Lastly, I have shared about our community health worker. They provide one-on-one assistance if you're looking for any locations where they can check your blood pressure, get vaccinations, food access, whatever resource it is that you may be looking for. You can scan the QR code and get on our contact list, so then our community health worker can call you and connect you with the different resources available. So I do have several providers of this as well.
Great.
Any questions?
Thank you. Anybody, any questions for Daisy? Yes.
I just have a question about the hantavirus. How many variants do we have here that we know about?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer for you, but I can definitely try.
Yeah, I have a question about coronavirus. There's rats. We know that. They're all around here. And if you're trying to get rid of them, you should spray down the area where you're working, yes, with
Great
water.
question. So that post that I mentioned, it does have information about best ways to prevent hantavirus infection, is keep wild rodents out of your home, workplace, cabin. It does say here, clean spaces thoroughly by gathering the proper supplies, including anything that you use to clean the area. It says to air out the space and to spray the contaminated area with the disinfectant until it's very wet, or at least let it soak for at least 5 minutes. And it does say to not, there was a certain section that said, do not sweep or vacuum the area, as this can stir up droppings and the materials contaminated with hantavirus into the air. So it does have a few information on here. Does that answer your question?
Well, if we go under our mobile home and rats have been under there, we need to know, do we wet it down to keep it from being in the air? Because it's airborne, right? Dust.
It can be. I can get more information and see if there's other resources that can answer more of your question regarding how to clean, especially areas that may be harder to access.
Good. All right. Is that it? Thank you as always, Daisy. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so we will go ahead and move on to item H, Emergency Management Department.
Hello, my My name is Josh Holkesvig, Senior Emergency Services Coordinator with the county's Emergency Management Department. I used to oversee District 4, and they just recently moved me to District 5, so I will no longer be your representative for instance, District. So I'm moving reluctantly, but they moved me to the pass area, so I can start networking out there. So with EMD right now, we are updating our emergency operations plan. We review it yearly, and we work with all of our cooperating agencies to maintain relevancy and functional access of the plan itself, to make sure that it is going to operate the way we want it to. We do this every year, and then every 5 years we do a complete overhaul of the plan, and we work with all of our partners to make sure that everything is appropriate. If there's a major incident, we also review our emergency operations plan to determine the functionality of the plan itself. In addition to that, this time of year we're also reviewing our local hazard mitigation plan. That plan is also updated every 5 years, complete overhaul, and it is submitted to Cal OES and FEMA for recognition and approval, and then it comes back down to the Board of Supervisors. And that plan assists us to be able to maintain our mitigation strategies and our risk assessments within the county to be able to access whether federal or state funding that may come down for infrastructure. So that's some of the stuff that we're doing inside the department. Also, May is National Wildfire Awareness Month, and as we've already noticed within the county, we've had several vegetation fires that have already taken off, and we've had several thousand acres that have already burned. We've had multiple evacuations, multiple shelters set up for residents, and it's just the beginning of the season. So we are getting prepared for a bigger season than normal based off of the rainfall that we've had in the winter months into the beginning of the year. We've had an excess of vegetation, and now with the heat and wind, we start seeing that vegetation start drying out. So we are getting ready for the fire season to be able to provide those services. How you can get ready for wildfire season: check your home, check your surroundings, make sure that you clean any dry vegetation, trim your trees back, make sure that you don't have any wood piles up against your house, make sure that you have a defensible space around your home. Prepare for your evacuations, make sure that you have a go bag, make sure that you have food, water, medications, any important documents ready to go. And also remember, you may not be at your home when you get it, maybe held up from a vegetation fire. You may be at a family member's house or something like that. So it's important to be able to have those supplies readily available, and make sure that they're not expired or damaged. You can go to rivcoready.org/alertrivco to be able to get emergency alerts based on your address. The way that the wireless emergency alerts work is they are sent out by cell phone towers. So if there is an alert in your area and you're not home, you're not going to receive that information. But if you do sign up for Alert Rivco, you can put your address in, and then you'll be able to get those alerts no matter where you're at.
Can you repeat that again, please?
It's rivcoready.org/alertrivco. And if you want to, you can go onto our website, rivcoready.org, and you can review the emergency operations plan. It is public facing, and you can take a look at that if you are interested. For public training, CERT and LISTOS classes, community emergency response team classes, during the summer months, it's too hot for us to do the training, so we usually kind of slow down around May and then pick back up around October. So if you're interested in doing community emergency response training or LISTOS training, you can go to our website as well. Go to the Get Involved or Get Prepared tab, and there's a list of upcoming classes countywide. Some of the incidents that we responded to in the month of April, the major incidents, on 4/3, we went to the Springs Fire in Moreno Valley, Gilman Springs. We had evacuation orders and warnings. We also worked with the city of Moreno Valley to open a reception and care center at the local high school, coordinated with all of our partner agencies, and then all evacuations were canceled by the next day and the shelter was closed. That incident was a little bit different because we had multiple care facilities and Kaiser Hospital that were in those evacuation zones. So that presents a whole bunch of different problems for us. But we worked with our partners and we're able to mitigate all the events of that incident. On 4/15, we responded to the Yearling fire in Harupa Valley. Evacuation orders and warnings were issued. A reception care center was opened. We also responded out to the incident command post, and worked with our partnering agencies. Now take note that Moreno Valley and Harupa Valley are incorporated communities, our cities, and we are there as a support function from the county to be able to assist them in providing sheltering operations for the community, as well as emergency alerts, orders, and warnings to be able to go out. And we're there for the duration of the incident to be able to assist our incorporated cities. On 4/17, the Vista Fire in Lake Elsinore, same thing, evacuation orders and warnings were issued. We did open a reception and care center, and I think within the same day that all the orders and warnings were lifted and downgraded and everybody was able to return home. That's all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Joshua, after Hurricane Hillary, I know the county was going to apply to the federal government for reimbursement. Do you know anything about that?
I don't have numbers. I do know that we do get funded to be able to go out to other agencies and organizations. But just note that any funding that comes from the federal government is at 75%, and all of that money that comes in is for infrastructure only. It's not for personal property reimbursement.
So I was thinking about our CSA.
Right, our roads. We spent a lot on the roads, and
Sure.
that probably it would be CSA that would have that information more than.
I was hoping Joshua might know.
Yeah, I can. That's a completely different division.
Okay.
That's under the Recovery and Finance Division, and I'm under Operations. But I can definitely get that information, and I can send it to Pat.
Beautiful.
I vaguely remember that I think we didn't meet the threshold.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'm just going to say thank you so much for the time that you have been here. I hope you're happy in your new position, and we'll miss you. You're always welcome back.
Well, I'm always happy.
I like that.
It's frustrating for me a little bit because I've spent so much time in the desert,
Right.
and now it's like they yanked me out. I was clawing at the doors. It's okay. I'm excited for a new adventure and new challenges.
Well, thank you again. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item I, which is transportation and land management. Anything for us?
That's hard to follow there, John.
I was going to say.
Yeah. No, I just our maintenance crew keep up with Dylan as much as they can. But I do want to thank the community council and David for staying with the CSA on maintenance on the road. So if there's anything you guys need, you guys know where to reach us.
I have just a quick question. The new speed limit on Dillon in Desert Edge, is that going pretty well? It seems to be.
It depends who you talk to.
Yeah. It took a while to get used to it, like the new stop sign.
It's not going well, but if you talk to the rest of the community, I guess it is. It's about patrolling too. I mean, we did what they requested, put out a radar sign, everything for a few weeks. But and then also the new school bus stops.
Yes.
Westbound. There was concerns about kids crossing Dillon. We haven't heard them, but we heard them at the last meeting an hour ago or so. If that's the case, the transportation director for the school district is going to monitor that, and then they'll put some on the westbound if they need to, but they don't have any records of that. So we haven't heard anything even from the sheriff department or the highway department, CHP, of regards to any issues with them. The committee does, we've heard the fact that they slowed down quite a bit going through there.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. They want another stop sign on Bennett Road, 4-way stop sign there. Remember that one lady that requested that we change the three-leg intersection for that sign. We did that, so the delivery people will know that they could also go north off of Dillon.
Right.
But now the issue in that community is that it warrants for a 4-way stop sign. So it's coming.
It is going to come, you think?
I would say so. I mean, that's just another stop sign, the new one we just put in here. on Langonia, I think it was, so yeah. There'll be another stop sign more likely on Bennett after our director and traffic department.
Isn't there a bit of a curve on Bennett? I mean, that seems like kind of a dangerous spot to have us. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, but then you have, stop ahead warning signs and,
We remember them well, yeah.
So yeah, it's just, like I said, it depends who you talk to.
All
I
right.
don't know, what do you guys think?
I mean, I've been out here a long. I think the stop sign where they put it is good for getting people to slow down before they hit the market and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't think so at Bennett, but that's
Maybe we should do a show of hands.
Will that help you?
Well, Cindy in here to get the review, so.
Oh, she'll hear about it. She'll hear about it. No.
Well, it has to
Yeah,
be
no
with our
doubt.
traffic department and everything, just their standards and that we have an ordinances we have to follow through and all that. So.
Will that come to both communities since Bennett Road is the dividing line or not?
A good question. I'll have to definitely make them aware of that, yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question in the back.
So I'm the one who requested.
We got it.
Yes, thank you so much. So I live there on Bennett. What is I'm not for or against the stop sign there, but I'm just curious why.
Well, it'll have to be a study there. I mean, that's a request of the Desert Edge community. Why? They feel they need one there too. So, but again, has to be the study first. Like you said, it's reserved, everything, and you have to look into that.
Like I said, I'm not for. I have no strong opinion either way. It just seems that we're just like stuttering all the way
right on the other
there.
side south of that, and we never heard of any issues to there. Apparently there is from the community.
And then,
We'll have to look into all that kind of studies.
Pat had a comment.
Yeah, I think a lot of these suggestions from the community stem from, we have residents that speed, right?
Yes.
We have residents that go very fast, regardless if there's a stop sign or not, or a slow down sign, or 45 miles per hour. So I think a lot of this stems from, there's a lot of speeding going on by the residents. Driving up here, coming through Thousand Palms, road, people were jamming around me. It was doing the speed limit, and especially in that, bendy road. So I thought, okay, Jesse and I have been out there before looking at how we slow traffic down, around the preserve area. So it's an ongoing issue. As long as people keep speeding and, taking dangerous turns around us, these things are going to come up and people are going to ask for a stop to slow folks down.
Can I ask
So
you?
like you said,
15 million stop signs, but if people don't actually stop for the stop sign, it's not a huge.
Yeah, we do what we can do.
And that's my, I'm not disagreeing with you, that's kind of my point, that we keep putting stop signs in, but people don't actually stop for the stop sign. The people who need to be stopping aren't actually stopping for the stop sign, so it feels like we're kind of throwing good money after bad, and it's like fixing potholes would be a better use of the money than another stop sign.
And I have one final question. Are there a lot of accidents at Bennett and Dillon? I know there were in Desert Edge area itself. It's people speeding and driving unsafely, but I don't think Bennett's been I'm not sure, but I don't think Bennett's been an issue, has it?
Like I said, our yard.
Because I know you guys would know.
Our yard is there to the south, and
Right.
We would know with our personnel and know if the accidents or anything like that.
They get in and out of there okay?
Yeah. I mean, we get out in and out of there with trucks, and they don't take off real fast. So
I was thinking that might have been why to get to for the transportation yard, maybe for their entry and exit into Dillon. So that's why I was kind of wondering.
To elaborate a little bit more on what Pat was saying about Thousand Palms, yeah, I mean, we actually put rumble strip to the center line, and I got passed through on a double solid line.
Right, I know the feeling.
Yeah, so there's only so much we could do.
I know.
The rest is up to the community, and we can't.
And that's truth, yes.
Everybody has different habits, as you know, and it's just trying our best to make it safe for everybody.
Right.
Nothing the CHP can.
No. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
One last
I
question.
have a comment for that. I work in the city of Palm Springs, and there's an intersection on 111 and like almost close to downtown Palm Springs. And what they did, because they just got a grant for safety roads or something like that, I heard on the radio, is that they have a speed like check kind of a thing that it tells you how fast are you going.
Yeah.
And it has like blue and red lights that they blink whenever you go above the speed limit. And I noticed, because I drive that part of the road regularly, that people do slow down when they see those lights.
Well, they got stolen on mine. We got put this radar out, nowhere near it ever got vandalized, but it did here.
Last one for yes. Go ahead.
Jesse, can you talk to us about the road action plan survey that is taking
Like
place?
Sky Valley, Shelly Valley Water District, you said we're just getting every, our life away. They planted pneumonia 25 years ago, and it's hitting so hard that we're all gonna go. We'll go
Right.
someday, but we're gonna go too early.
Okay, I was asking Jesse a question.
Yeah, I do, on the mobility plan,
Yeah,
the
you
general
know the
plan.
survey that happened, and now,
The
there was,
transportation survey.
there was segments of Dillon Road that they were looking at.
Yeah, that's for the mobility plan. I'll have to get an update on that. I've not been briefed on that in about 3 months.
So I
let me-
think I
let me
sent the
present that.
community, I sent
You
the
did.
community a survey a couple months ago to participate, because they had gotten several, response back in the survey about segments of Dillon Road, for a widening, and taking a look at what segments that could potentially be, like Desert Edge and, just different parts of Dillon Road and Varner Road.
Yeah, we presented a survey here, remember, by communities throughout the county that are for people to give us their input on that. I'll follow up on that, Pat, and provide something next meeting.
Bring it back after summer. Thank you. Okay, next we're gonna move on to Pat from Supervisor Perez's office.
So just, I'll be really brief, because I know we have some presentations. A couple of weeks ago, the county held a series of budget town halls in each of the districts, and Supervisor Perez was about a couple of weeks ago, and we had a really good turnout, anywhere between 85 to 100 people came to CBWG, Palm Desert, and gave their thoughts about how the county should prioritize our budget. The county budget is $10 billion, with $8.6 billion of that fixed through federal and state grant guidelines, and then it has $1.4 billion in discretionary funds. And so the good turnout, there were various items that folks wanted prioritized, things like affordable housing. That seemed to be one of the big asks, was more help in building affordable housing, low-income housing, child care facilities, code. They want more money spent in code, code enforcement and SDRs. So more infrastructure in the East Valley. So it was a very good turnout, and they gave an update today at the Board of Supervisors meeting. I didn't get to hear all of it, but I'll come back and/or try and email the community about what all the other districts had to say and how they compile the information for the supervisors. And I think Tabitha, you came, right? Yeah, I think Tabitha came. I'm not sure who else was.
I was just gonna make one quick comment. If anybody has not had the opportunity to go and participate, it is a great workshop with, I mean, just, it's set up so well, a lot of back and forth, very interesting and engaging for the community. So, when is it once a year?
Yes, we try and do it the 3 months before budget hearings. So our budget hearings are coming up June 8th and 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you still have some thoughts about it, feel free to email me, and I will forward that to the supervisor about, your thoughts about how they should prioritize the budget.
Thank you. And Martin?
Yeah, I was
I'm
saying,
sorry.
I'm even afraid to wash my hands with Coachella Valley Water District.
I couldn't hear you.
I'm afraid to wash my hands with Coachella Valley Water District, with drink it, you know. I've been on purified water for 25 years, and I still got the cancer in my stomach.
Yeah.
I don't think, everyone gave that up north.
Yeah.
I tried to drink the base water as a kid, I didn't get any water. I got my brain burned out already, and then I come over to this country, and I found out there's better water, and I'm real statistical about water, so I don't even want to water my own trees with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Were any other departments or public agencies? Okay. We have no new business, but we're going to go to old business. And I just want to say before we start the update, I'm sorry, from General Manager Barrett, I want to ask that we all treat each other with respect, listen, and allow time for answers. It's important that we get the best outcome for our community. An important side note, at the CVWD board meeting this morning, it was agreed to place this item on the agenda at one of the next 2 board meetings as we requested, and possibility of a further workshop to share information with our community. We're hoping that they might be able to put the item on June 9th instead of May 27th, so all of our council members can be present. I'm going to ask Mr. Barrett to go ahead and present, then have it come back to the council members for some questions and comments. After that, we'll open up to the public, and I ask that you keep your questions succinct and to the point as much as possible. Mr. Barrett, thank you.
Good afternoon, thanks again for the opportunity to speak. Thanks, Council. Thanks, Ms. Cooper, for putting me on the agenda. I was here back in January. I had 4 things to talk about to kind of offer the color of this issue. One, that you're an independent water district, water system. 2, that the state has basically come out with a new drinking water constituent, chromium-6, that had some levels that they thought were hazardous. 3, that Mission Springs had a way to kind of provide water that didn't violate those standards. And 4, that the state had money to pay for that consolidation with Mission Springs. So those were those 4 things. This time I had 4 more things, but Council President has already covered one of those, which is the information item that our board requested of staff this morning. There, I guess, is some discussion on whether or not the 27th or the 9th is the right date. So once I figured that out, because I asked during the meeting, the county, the clerk of the board said the 27th was the right date. And when I asked her again before I left, I said, so you sure it's not June 9th? And she said, no, because both President Powell and Director Aguilar will be out. And I'm joined by Director Aguilar, who is the director on CVWD board for this area, and Vice President Estrada, who handles another part of our region, down by the Salt Sea. So we'll have to figure out when the right date for that is, and staff will be ready in either case. The second thing I wanted to do was to say that this standard that the state has set was challenged once before and is being challenged again. There was briefings to the judge in Fresno concluded on March 5th, and they're allowed 90 days to publish a tentative opinion. So that would be June 5th. I know there's maybe June 4th or June 3rd or somewhere in there, but sometime around June 5th, we expect to hear from the judge, or he has the ability to extend that time period. That'll be his tentative opinion. There may then be oral arguments after that. We picked, and CVWD was involved in funding the legal support for that lawsuit, although we're not named as a principal party because we wanted to focus on smaller agencies, thinking there'd be more empathy, sympathy. But we are waiting to see what the judge will say. I was going to say something else here, but it just escaped. Yeah, me too. I hope he hurries up too. But until we hear from the judge, we're kind of moving. We have a responsibility to be in compliance by a certain date. And as long as we keep moving, we have protection from litigation against us. So that's all we're trying to do, is keep moving in the right direction. We've got a compliance plan for both ID8 and for the Cove system, which is the larger part of our area, at the state under review. So that's the lawsuit. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is we picked that area in Fresno because the appellate court there has experience in challenging the state regulatory system. So if we lose at Superior Court, we can take it up on appeal. And we think we have a pretty good chance at the appellate court. If the state loses, we don't think they're going to appeal it. We think they'll just go back and do whatever they need to do to relook at the issue and then figure out whether or not they're going to recalculate the standard. So that was item number 2. Item number 3 is I do understand that the consolidation grant from Mission Springs has been filed with the state and is at the state under review. We'll just wait and see where that goes. It probably will take a couple of months. The state doesn't work very quickly on these things, but that's that. The last thing I wanted to do was, I'm not going to speak too much about this. I provided a one-pager. I know there's been a lot of discussion about how the rates for Sky Valley will double or triple under Mission Springs. I understand that. I'm not here to argue that. You have big parcels here. You have the capacity to use a lot of water. Yeah, things are going to change. What I had asked my staff to do is go look at what the average CVWD ratepayer is paying, how much they use and what they pay. So the average is like $67. The average amount of water they use is almost 40 CCF, and a 100 cubic feet is 748 gallons. We don't need to get too far into that. But that's the average. It's not the statistical mean. I don't know how many people in here are familiar with statistics, but I can't say that the average is the middle value so that half of the accounts are bigger and half the accounts are smaller. That would be the statistical mean. And maybe we'll take a look at that. I don't know that it'll add a whole lot of value. But I just wanted to provide a basis of comparison. I get it. You guys have bigger properties. You use more water. But the average CVWD ratepayer does not. And while they will pay more under Mission Springs, it's almost double. But they will pay more if CVWD has to do the chromium-6 mitigation. And that's just another data point that we consider when we look at this. I can't isolate Sky Valley from the rest of ID8. It's one system. All the wells are off by Little Morongo between 16th and Dillon, and then feed to the east. So I can't separate you guys from the rest of the system. And that's all I really had to say.
Can I ask a question? When you did the average, was that of just ID8 customers or
Yes.
CVWD?
Just
overall?
ID8 customers.
And then Mark, yeah, go ahead.
I was looking at your I guess estimates of what it would cost monthly for the remediation costs.
Yes.
And you're saying 1,495 accounts, I'm somewhere in that line.
Right.
I have firsthand experience with 2 mobile home parks in the area, which is Sky Valley Resorts and Caliente Springs. Between the 2 of them, there's 1,500 spaces. Why aren't those people picking up any of this cost?
So it depends on how they're metered and how the account is set up within our system. Mm-hmm. So if the owner of the mobile park only asks for and gets a single meter, it's up to him then to proportion that cost, however he does it, through the rest of the mobile home park.
So you're
So
talking,
he's only going to have to pay
$80 for that single meter? Or $80 times 1,500 spaces?
So we counted the number of accounts that we had.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go down and count the number of people that use water.
Yeah.
And that's all I can go on. That's all we have visibility for.
Yeah. No, I understand, but it seems like those people who are using the water should pay for the remediation costs also, not just the owner of the property.
So again, there's 2 parts to this, right? There's the number of accounts, which get billed by us. That's the only way I can bill.
Yeah, no, I understand that, yeah.
So that's how, when we calculate what the monthly payment is, That's how it then gets spread through the customer base. Now, he will pay, because he's got a number of users, his volume of water will be bigger than the one account. But right now, when we look at how we will charge for Chromium 6, we're putting it on the monthly service charge. Now, he probably has a much bigger meter than the folks that had 3/4 inch meters.
Yeah.
So he's already paying more because he's got a bigger meter.
But just for the water.
Well, regardless of how much water he uses, the monthly service charge is based on the size meter.
Yes, yes. I
So he
understand.
still gets charged for that whether he uses any water or not. So he'll still get charged a portion, and that's something we can look at. But
Yeah.
right now, that's the only way I could do it in.
So,
For now.
So you're saying this $82.20 will be for a 3/4 inch meter?
Yeah,
Is
when
it going
when
to
I
be
look at the
higher for
accounts,
a
it's
larger
not,
meter?
again, that gets back to your first question.
Yeah.
What is the trailer park operator going to be paying?
Right.
I didn't look at that. I only
Yeah.
did a quick look at how many accounts do we have, and how would that monthly, I guess, debt service be spread across the number of accounts I have. The easiest way to do it is just by accounts.
Right.
And that's what we did. There may be other ways to do it. We can certainly
Look at
take a
that
look
too,
and talk
yeah.
about that.
Okay.
But we are placing it on a monthly service charge because all of the water has to be treated, not just.
Right, so
Not
if you're using it, you should probably pay
Right.
to have it done. And I don't think just the property owner is enough to help spread the cost around.
Okay, that means it's a point we can take a look at.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna bring it back. Thank you, because we were kind of wondering if Parks paid, just an $85, whatever it is, or the, 1,500 times 85
Right.
for the remediation. Okay, so the other thing, you can stay because we're gonna have some questions. Is that okay?
Questions for me?
Yes, sir.
That I can answer?
I think so. I hope so.
Well, let's wait.
Well, I tell you what, we'll do. There's going to be just some comments and some questions. If you'd rather sit or stand, that's totally up to you, Jim. Wherever you're comfortable.
I'll go sit until I
Okay.
start feeling uncomfortable.
All right.
Then I'll stand.
Okay, all right. Now, I was just going to say, of concern for our residents that kind of, Jim, you brought it up as well, that have larger parcels, is, I think you were saying, like for me, I'll give you a simple one. My water budget was 155 CCF last month. I think I used 88, but I had a water bill of $130. But I'm always in tier 1 and 2, except if I have a water leak or something. So it's efficient for where I've been for 40 years. And that's where I was talking this morning with you guys that $130 water bill right now from CVWD would be close to $390.
Right.
So, and I know that's not probably the same through the whole ID8, but that's certainly what's affecting us here. And so, that's a big issue for us. And then another concern for me is the procedure by which Mission Springs approved their resolution to proceed when applying for that financial assistance and the consolidation of ID8. At the ID8 workshop, Mission Springs made it clear verbally and on their PowerPoint presentation that when the Mission Springs board was ready to move forward with the grant application, they would require both CVWD and Mission Springs approval and a letter of intent from CVWD. So we know the letter of intent is there, and we know that Mission Springs voted, but we have not seen that CVWD voted yet, and yet the grant application had been submitted. And then the last thing I'd like to do before I pass it to other people is the resolution that was adopted at Mission Springs, the wording is concerning for us. This was also of concern to one of the no votes at Mission Springs when they voted 3-2 to proceed. Also of interest is the second no vote was due to concern that they had no confirmation that CVWD board approved of that letter of intent. So the resolution that had all of us concerned is as follows. I'm just going to do a small part. Anybody that's interested, you can go and read the whole thing. It says, it is recommended to adopt resolution 2026-03 and authorize the general manager to sign and execute agreements and necessary supporting documents with the State Water Resources Control Board for the consolidation of the CVWD ID8 domestic water system. That's not just looking at funding. I mean, maybe it is, but the wording kind of puts it where they're asking the State Water Board to move forward with the consolidation. And for me, that's very, I thought you might want to stand up. That's very concerning, you know, for a lot of us out here.
Blow out the speaker. So, first off, letter of intent. I spoke to this at Mission Springs. Our board continued the item. My job as general manager is to continue to progress items until told to stop. I was not told to stop. I'm continuing to press this item forward. Okay? That's my job as general manager, to get things done. I wasn't told to stop. I was told to bring it back when Mission Springs decided what they were going to do. All we are right now is looking to see whether this project will qualify for state funding. If it doesn't qualify for state funding, I can pretty much guarantee you that Mission Springs isn't going to move forward.
They made that clear, yes.
Right? So then it's how much funding will be available. Under this program for consolidation, if you are a failing system, and ID8 is a failing system because it's violating the Chrome 6 standard, right? If the standard changes, there's no violation, there's no need to consolidate. But as long as ID8 is violating that standard, it becomes eligible for money from the state up to $80,000 per connection, to a maximum of $50 million. So I understand Mission Springs is going to try and get as much of that money as they can. So all we're doing now is looking to see how far down this road can we get, because ultimately, before any action is taken, it has to come back to our board for a resolution to go to LAFCO. LAFCO needs a resolution from CVWD and from Mission Springs to consider a reorganization. And then I think as far as LAFCO goes, it's just a recommendation to the county supervisors. We haven't done a consolidation in the 16 years I've been here. I don't even know that we did a consolidation 16 years before that. So this is kind of, as Director Bianco kind of said this morning, this is a learning process for us. We're not going to commit to something until our board feels comfortable that that's what they want to do. And there are going to be a lot of factors that they consider. There are going to be a lot of factors that Mission Springs considers. I can't project or predict what all those factors are going to be.
They needed both boards to vote and a letter. So, you know, and the wording, well, I mean, you know, it makes you a little nervous, right? Because it's not going to be of benefit to this community. It may be to the rest of the IDA. And I'm gonna say thank you. I won't belabor the point, and I'll pass it on. I appreciate your answer, but I'm saying that is where our concern and, you know, didn't seem. Of course, no, please.
If that's what the state requires, and that's not in the package won't get approved.
That's what I'm hoping.
I can pretty much guarantee that that'll be the case.
Right. Thank you.
Jim, is the packet a loan or a grant?
It's a grant. It is an application for a grant. And I anticipated someone would ask.
But you did.
Thank
To
you.
the president.
Thank you.
So I highlighted a couple of words on there that talk to a failing system, and exceedance of a Chrome 6 standard is a failing system. And then on, I think it's page 3, it talks to the planning grant is on page 2. And this is off the State Water Resources Control Board website. So.
Thank you. We'll make
Thank
copies
you.
and spread that.
Jim, I know last time you were here, you deposited a flyer after you spoke. So none of us had a chance to review it until afterwards.
Okay.
I know that happened at Indian Hills as well. So I see that you're distributing materials after you spoke. Do you have anything else that we should be reviewing at this point?
I learned from that and distributed my work before the meeting.
Yes, and I distributed to everybody here, not
Thank
to
you. I
every
appreciate
family.
that. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the application was for 25 million, or I thought we heard 50 million at
50.
MSW.
Okay, so right now, the estimate for the construction project to remediate Chrome 6 is 25 million. That could change. That doesn't cover the debt service in there, which is another 10 million approximately. So we're actually looking to pay back 35 million, which is in that calculation. The state offers up to 80,000 in that.
I heard you, yes.
Per connection.
Correct.
So there's 50 million that's available.
And
for consolidation.
And that is the application that went through.
Correct.
50.
I haven't looked at the application, I don't know.
Neither have I, but I thought that's what we heard.
Well, I know that, I was told that's what they're going after. They're
Yes.
going after the maximum.
Yes. Which, is more of a liability for the residents in IDA. So it's of great concern whether it's 25 or 50 million.
Why is it a liability?
Because that's more debt that we owe.
Okay.
If it's a grant.
If it's a grant. The program also says it could be a loan, and they'll decide later whether it's a grant or a loan.
Again, as we go through this learning process together, if it's a loan, it's not going to be as attractive.
But it still might be accepted.
The whole idea of consolidation is to fix a failing system. And you don't fix a failing system by giving a bill to the new owner. That's not what the program is intended to do. It's intended to fix the problem and not burden the receiver.
Yeah. Typically, these programs for consolidation would take small districts and consolidate them together. In this instance, we're hooked up to a larger system, but you're pushing us off into a smaller district.
You're not hooked up. So that's part of the problem.
And if we were, that would only be 40 to 45 million. I think you quoted in January.
We think.
What was that number? 40 or 45?
About 45.
I'd rather go with the cheaper solution rather than 50 million.
I say it was 50 or 55.
We can't get consolidation money to consolidate with our side.
Now, last time in January, you said you weren't sure because you hadn't asked that question.
We have asked that question. We won't get that money.
Who did you ask?
Consolidate with ourselves.
Hey, can we not talk out of turn, you guys? Really, it's really important that we, keep this away. So, as I said, we're going to let the council. I know Noel has a question.
Let him ask that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Omir Rabani at the State Water Resources in the state program.
Well, may I, just as a comment, at your board meeting this morning, my recollection is that Director Bianco said that he commented that Coachella Valley Water District had applied for a loan and had been rejected.
We asked that question.
Well, so in fact, you did not apply.
No.
All right, because I was going to say, if you did apply and got a rejection, it would be helpful for us.
You want to see it? Of course. Yeah, no,
So no.
It was based on a phone conversation that I had.
A telephone conversation you had, and what was the, who did you call, and where did you ask? Because that's the only thing we're going to be able to find out.
I called Omir Rabani, who is the Southern California rep on the State Water Resources Control Board SAFER program.
So you had one conversation with him.
That was enough.
Okay. That's what you said. Okay. All right.
Any other questions from the council before we open it to public?
I have
Oh, I'm sorry.
not necessarily a sort of a question, but really also a report, because at the CVW board meeting this morning, I had asked if we could get a copy of the Mission Springs Water District's application for financial assistance, and then to be kept advised of the status of that as it was going through the review process. And Director Aguilar, when the board was discussing among themselves, indicated that he noted that this application would be a matter of public record, and that he thought that we should be able to obtain it. And I had indicated that, before we had trouble getting anything from Mission Springs, because when we asked questions and things, they basically tell us, no, you're not our customers, so we can't really respond and deal with you. I wonder, do you have any information updating whether and when we might get a copy of the
Well, Jim, I mean, since the question was directed to me, I'm sorry if I can.
Yes, sorry, yes.
Yeah, it's, since you mentioned my name, I thought I'd go ahead and respond.
Okay.
So for those of you who might have missed it, I'm Director Aguilar. So I did immediately get in contact with Mission Springs and was advised, and they're here, they can corroborate this, that the grant has been submitted, as was mentioned earlier. It is a public document. It's being included in a request of other documents I believe Tabitha already has pending, and it's available. So I believe that question's been addressed.
So we'll get it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to open it up to questions for the public. And again, let's not talk out of turn. Keep your questions short and to the point if you could. And number one, please be respectful. Thank you. So, Bill? Did you have something?
I'd like to direct it to their board of directors.
Yeah, he's not.
And that is, have you been advised by legal counsel about all these actions you're taking?
Well, I mean, Vice President, would you like to go first or to respond?
You're taking, all I hear is this is a learning curve. Well, the water districts in the entire United States have been around since inception. And everything I hear from this gentleman here is, well, we're testing, we're kind of moving along and practicing and learning. Well, this is not a learning curve. If you have legal counsel, they will be able to tell you, number one, is by signing this letter of intent, does that obligate then Coachella Valley Water District and our group to be involved if it gets approved? And what if it does get approved and we decide that it's not the direction we want to go in? Or the pressures we're going to put on you not to go forward. So I would like to understand is, are you getting legal counsel on how legal are these steps you're taking, and what is the process? And you have to excuse me if it sounds like I'm being aggressive. I'm not.
No.
My voice is stressed, and so I'm kind of pushing. But it seems to me to be reasonable at this stage of the game that this is not a new experience for anybody. So, it should be a learning curve. I'm not talking to you. And I have an issue with you in your presentation at the other meeting. Advice from anyone with regard to these actions and the process and the steps.
So, we're having these discussions in front of legal counsel all the time, and I think right now.
I'm sorry, I did not say something, but I'll let you finish.
So I think right now, whether we consider this grant option or not, the process that's afforded to us is the LAFCO process. The LAFCO process.
Okay.
So eventually, at some point, if this were to move forward, and I'm not convinced that I'm in support of it now, but if it would ever get to that point, then that would have to be a matter that's considered by LAFCO, and I think that's the legal path for this to conclude. And so there would have to be an application.
Excuse me, is this for Martin? You met?
Yeah, so the decision is also, I don't believe, in my opinion, and I believe that this would be the opinion of council, that the opinion is solely within our jurisdiction. I think it would have to be something that LAFCO weighs in on. And so that would have to happen, I imagine, by a request of both agencies, making that request to LAFCO, and eventually LAFCO would have to make a determination on that, but I think that's where it goes. Eventually it gets to that point. So that's my answer to you.
And I would just, if I could just supplement what Vice President Estrada has said. From my perspective, I made this pretty clear this morning as well. Personally, I'm in a very due diligence place about this whole issue regarding this consolidation. And I personally, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for the rest of the board, we have not had any conversations with legal counsel regarding this issue, and perhaps in the future, depending on where this goes, that may occur.
Well, the only thing I would suggest, and it's just my opinion, is that since you've already signed the letter of intent, that you probably go back one step and get some advice on that letter and what does it obligate you as a board moving forward. Because there could be some very severe legal implications that affect us, because we're going to be ones paying the bill based on decisions you make. And so that's been the premise for my decision. The other issue is the board itself has to make any approvals and agreements on that, right, before the general manager can go ahead and sign these. Is that correct? He can
Any future document, well, again, from my perspective, any future documents that would obligate the board and the district to any future processes for this thing to be implemented, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you for the question.
I'm sorry, Brenda, sorry. Were you finished answering?
Yes, I was finished.
Thank you, really appreciate it. I see Alicia, you've got a hand up?
Yes, and let me preface with, if you can excuse my ignorance in this, I'm confused on the LAFCO, is that, okay, I'm confused on this because I've heard, and I don't understand that process at all, but I've heard two different things when it comes to that. One, the first thing I heard was that this process, after you guys do all your song and dance, the two agencies, then it goes to LAFCO, and then that's where the general public gets to go in and we get a say in LAFCO as well. Then I heard that because it wouldn't be, and I won't have the correct vocabulary here, but because it wouldn't be a full process or something, it was, I don't know the right word, but that it wouldn't get that full LAFCO review, so that it wouldn't go through that full LAFCO review. So can you give me some information on that, like what's actually happening, or do we know yet?
So I think that that's an answer that I think I need to get more clarity on too. I think the board needs to get more clarity on. I will share that I used to be on LAFCO about maybe 2 years ago, so I served on LAFCO for about 2, 3, 4 years. And based on what I experienced there, it would have to be an application that would have to be considered by the LAFCO board. And so I need to ask more questions myself as it relates to whether in fact there's another process that would take away your ability to participate and basically protest the redrawing of boundaries. And when I was in LAFCO, things that required to change a boundary, for the most part, went through an application process. And so this other idea that you're kind of describing, I've heard a little bit about it too, kind of being shared, and I think that that's something that we're going to have to try to get more clarity on. I think that's part of the reason why I suggested that we have a workshop. I think to have these types of conversations and get some clarity on things that need more clarity. I think that there are things that we don't have full answers for, but I think we need to have answers. And so I'm hoping that through this process of having workshops, having conversations, that we could just get some more clarity on things. So that's one thing as it relates to my understanding of the application process. I was going to say something else, but I kind of lost track of where I was going. But anything else?
Well, I think it's just, we as a community, we want to be heard. We want to have
a say in how this whole process works. And we feel that this has, I think I can speak to a lot of us from having conversations, that we feel like there's not been any transparency in this, that this has gone on, and, the community doesn't know that it's happening, that no one has said, CBWD or, Mission Springs wouldn't, it's not their responsibility to do it, but, CBWD hasn't, let the community know, hey, we're considering this, and at some point, we're considering redrawing these boundaries, and at some point, this is the process, and you will have to say at one point, but we gotta do A, B, C, D first, so that the rest of us and what we think, it's all up to you, and we have no voice in the matter. That's where I think, at least for me personally, my frustration's coming from. I don't think my neighbors know about it, and you have a mechanism to let all of us CBWD, accounts know.
Yeah.
And we just don't feel that you've cared to do that, like you've hidden it from us.
And that's the sense that I'm getting, right? That's the sense that I'm getting to, and I think we're trying as a board to make sure that we check off those boxes soon. And I would say that in the event that we learn that there is this other method of moving through LAFCO without a formal application, I would imagine that the board would have to take action to authorize our general manager to indicate to LAFCO that that's something we want to do. So I don't see us providing some type of statement to LAFCO that we want to move in this direction without a vote of the board. So I think you have a mechanism to engage the district, which your constituents of CBWD, and I think you have to, there's going to have to be a vote at some point for any of this to actually be real. It hasn't happened.
Director Aguilar, that's what we're hoping for. But we've heard Mr. Barrett give presentations before MSWD where he claimed there would not be a vote. So we very much want to support the community vote on this before. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Mark. I think well, when we talk about money, I guess they have to stand up, right?
You can.
I think the best thing is for all of us to get a welfare. We eliminate the Shadow Valley Water District, and if you want to go, you go to Mission Springs. But for us better, to myself like this, we get a well in my property. Whatever the price it costs, we don't got a lot of time, but whatever is going to be left in the property, you have a well. I don't know anyone that has a well there, but I heard it's like 1,200 feet. 1,200? 1,500. And it was like 12,000 when we put in.
Thank you.
On this question of, sharing information and notifying, maybe make the request that the board, formal request, that the board send to every single one of your IDA customers a significant information sheet, perhaps like the one that was handed out here at the last meeting, or something to advise every single person who has an account with you in IDA that this is in the works. You have it, you can do it in your regular mailing to them, and it seems like that would be a first step, at least, in getting everybody at least partly up to speed.
And then if I may, I'm going to make, I know what Leisha is talking about the LAFCO issue is, I think it was in the IDA workshop, they were talking, General Manager Barrett was talking about that there were two paths that LAFCO could go, but because this was just going to be a redrawing of boundaries or a change in the sphere of influence, we would have a voice, but the ratepayers would not get a vote. And I think that's where all of this is coming from. Where normally with, full LAFCO review, people would have a say, well, we will be able to speak, but we won't be able to vote on whether we're in favor or not. So, I've gone back and watched, unfortunately, countless board meetings and workshops and, tried to educate myself as best I could. So I think that's probably a conversation that's circulated through the community. So I believe that is what Alicia's talking about. Okay. Did you?
It's my understanding there are two paths.
Yes.
One involves a vote. One involves a resolution from both participating agencies.
Yes.
And you can see that in the LAFCO manual. There's a diagram that basically
The route this is taking is going to be the resolution and the
Correct.
vote from the ratepayers, correct?
You have a voice, but there's no vote to start the process.
That's
It's the two resolutions that start the process.
yes. Okay. Do we have any other?
May I just add?
Yes.
They send out this personal district, and they would include, what you suggested in it.
Well, I think it should be separate though, because you don't when you get your bill with 7 things. Well, you do. You're good friend. I mean, most people don't. So I think something of this magnitude might, warrant being sent to the IDA customers individually so that they can look at it and they don't have a say. I mean, listen, who knows where this, we were talking before the meeting, I mean, if the court, gets rid of the Chrome 6 thing, then all of this is for naught, right? Which is, what I'm gonna put, under my pillow every night. But I'm just saying, so obviously there's a lot of different ways this can go. And I really did mean it when I spoke with General Manager Barrett at Mission Springs and said, we don't want there to be animosity, we don't want there to be any of that. What we want in our community is to do the best that we can for this community. I know the whole IDA district is involved, but we're responsible for Sky Valley. And Sky Valley is not going to benefit from sewer. It's never coming out here, nor do we want it. So there's a whole other, component to this that really does not benefit our community. The last thing that I'll say is at one of the meetings, it was suggested, this did start because, as you said, Director Aguilar this morning, because Desert Hot Springs wants to develop their commercial properties down by the I-10, right? That's how this whole thing came about. It was suggested that CBWD just divest that area to Mission Springs. Let them have their commercial development and leave the rest of the IDA customers out of it. And certainly the ones like in Sky Valley and Indio Hills are completely different customers and different rate structures and different, uses than anywhere else. So, it's hard to kind of be lumped in and expected to pay the rates that we're going to be required to pay out here is going to be really significant for us. So, like I said, I don't, we don't mean it to be, argumentative or, not helpful to the rest of the community, but we have to look out for our community. So, does anybody else have any questions or comments?
I have to say one thing about the sewer/septic issue, which came up 4 times on the original flyer that Mr. Eric gave us. I agree with Julie that I don't think anyone in this room is in support of sewer service coming out to Sky Valley. Having said that, I have to say, well, who benefits from that? Well, that would be the commercial development over by the interstate, as well as Movida, which is known as the Desert Dunes Project. And so when that was brought up before MSWD, there was a huge pushback. And no, this has nothing to do with commercial development. But as Julie has stated, that is how it started. We look at the Movida plans, we look at some of the meetings that have taken place, and I know there's been discussions back in October about the Movida project moving into the IDA consolidation with MSWD. That, I just want to say, that septic sewer cost that's being proposed is not something we're interested in here in Sky Valley or subsidizing. And that's really how I see this $50 million proceeding. It's a subsidy for commercial development that's going to be occurring well outside of our community. So, anyway, thank you.
Cindy, you have a comment.
Yeah. That was for me, right? council. I've lived off of Dillon for 25 years, and I have my own well. So I'm not really vested into this argument, although I was very proactive when it came to ideas that the wells that we were using could be monitored when they would start doing the Morongo recharge area, and I reminded them water flows downhill. It isn't flowing into our wells. We can't have our water monitored. But the ID8 well issue has me concerned because most of the people that live in Desert Edge are living on a fixed income of about $2,500 a month. To raise their rates to anything that would be like $350 would mean that they would not have medications or direct food. It's just not affordable. To the point of notification to all ratepayers, ID8, I think MSWD ratepayers should also be included in that. And we have asked Mission Springs Water District for decades if and when they were ever going to put in sewer, which they said it's going to be very costly to put in the pumping system, etc. But I think that if this consolidation goes through, then Mission Springs Water District will be bankrupted by putting in sewer systems for the 25 parks that have 250 to 750 units, approximately 15,000 people living there at any time. That's a lot of flushes. And, already I'm concerned about the quality of the water having been polluted due to all that septic going into the ground, which doesn't seem to be tested with the ID8 well testing. But if you take a place like Desert Edge, which is half Mission Springs Water District, half CWD, and now you're going to take the small fish is going to swallow the big fish, it just doesn't make sense to me. That there's going to be a cost that hasn't been considered, and that is going to disenfranchise a lot of people that already have a problem with being able to afford to live the last days of their lives. They're mostly seniors, elderly, and you can look at the assessor's database for statistics on the demographics of our area, but we are definitely a lower income and senior community that should be having grants available to us instead of the possibility that we would lose our homes because we have to hook up to sewer, like what happened with Cathedral Canyon when they decommissioned septics. And of course, Sky Valley shouldn't have to pay for that. Unless there's a grant or some sort of provision put in that there's going to be septic sewage set up for Desert Edge, this is just, it's not feasible because nobody else should have to pay for those parks, which they're $1 million to $5 million property value since the pandemic, to not, pay some sort of park.
I got money we gave them because the water was a bit contaminated for many years back, and I was raising an issue on it very now. I don't know.
He's saying that the water should reimburse the money instead of us giving it to them. They should reinvest it back to the community.
So I think I will say that Director Estrada's talked about a workshop maybe, as more information becomes available, would be super helpful so that we can, have more, because in the board meetings and stuff, it's you guys say something or you say something, we do our 3 minutes, you say something and we're done. So the workshop I think is an opportunity to make it maybe a little more back and forth. If that's a possibility, I think that would be super helpful.
So I think the intent, so as you mentioned, we added an item
Yes.
for a board agenda in the future. I think we're debating is it the 27th or the 9th, but I think it's going to land on the 27th.
If I may, it might be more helpful to wait until after the 5th of June when the court is supposed to report
That's
out.
what June 9th would be roughly.
If all the board members are there, and that's what I have to check.
So the point is we're going to try to figure out what works, and we're going to add it to that agenda. And I think the intent is to allow the board to have a kind of an open conversation about what we could do next as it relates to communication. I think primarily whether that's in the form of a workshop or what you just talked about, maybe some type of mailer. It's for us to, I think, report back on a lot of what we're hearing here today. I think there was some good stuff brought up about laughable options. What are they? Which one are we going to try to do? I think as a board, we could also talk about if we have a preference for either, right? And what are the benefits and disadvantages to each of those options? So that's really the intent of that, is to just have a conversation and maybe be able to provide more specific direction to staff moving forward. So that's kind of what it is.
Yes. I think I have one. No? Okay. Did you? Okay.
I do, if I can. So, from my perspective, the way that this was handled, and it's already been echoed, was it kind of came out of nowhere. And it very much seemed like we have the water district that we pay money into that takes care of our water, is just trying to sell us off. So then when we ask questions and things aren't really being answered the way that I feel like they should, it prompts people to start researching things on their own. I look at all of this and what I've learned so far, and it's already been brought up about the connection issue. And you're talking about 3/4 inch connections. All the new builds, because they require fire sprinklers out here, are 1.5 inches. And mind you, I failed algebra 3 times and had to have my son tutor me. So math may not be my strong suit, but when I'm going through the numbers of the amount of people and what we've kind of been given as the total cost to fix it on our end, I'm going just by the number of people that this will be divided by and how it's going to be, equitably shared across everyone. And I still can't come up with $85 per thing. And I get that that's because you can only look at that number, but then I look at that also as then that research on the guesstimate that prompted all of this wasn't accurate in the first place. And that I find to be very frustrating. I also understand that we pay our service fee, and part of that is supposed to go into like routine maintenance or improvements or things. And I know I asked this at a previous community meeting, how much have we already paid in that is sitting in our account balance for that? Because in my mind, if we do end up becoming hostages of Mission Springs, then not only would they be getting whatever grant money, but they should be getting whatever we have paid into that pot of money sent to them for repairs to us. And I know I still haven't gotten information on that. I would love the workshops. I think they'd be beneficial for all of us. We do have a lot of people that were not able to come here that are live streaming, but they can't participate. So maybe something that would be more of a hybrid option, and also in our community would be helpful. I appreciate the conversation. I will still be a thorn in your ears. Thank you.
Yes, Pat.
Thank you, directors, for coming, and staffs of both agencies. We really appreciate you laying out where we're at. One suggestion I might have is on the process, the policy process, the agency process between the two agencies and LabCo and Board of Supervisors. It'd be helpful if we could have like a timeline and maybe a guide as to, what needs to happen to get to, a certain agencies, what needs to happen to get to LabCo, what happens at LabCo, kind of a timeline overview of how this happens, so that we're all learning together. And I think what you're seeing is because we don't know, and you've seen it in government before, when you don't know what your government agencies are doing, you start to think of what the potential probably is, and it's not the best maybe for us. So maybe something like that we have more clarity, so that we're not freaked out. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you to all of you for coming. And for this morning as well, thank you. We really appreciate your time and comments. And, hopefully we'll all be a little better informed moving forward. And I guess let's just hope that when it comes back on whatever you said it was, June something, they decide that the Chrome 6 guidelines just June 1st. All right. Again, thank you. I'm sure everybody really appreciates it. And we'll be seeing you all soon. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. And lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've got your...
Thank you. Have a great night.
Right. Okay, I gotta go back to managing the meeting. All right, got too many papers here. I'm going, Pat, I'm going. Where I am, what's going on? All right, okay, everybody, let's kind of, excuse me. Can we pull this back together, please? We've still got business to attend to. So moving forward, we are going to go on to one of the things that I very much wanted for us to do on the council was to take a formal position on whether we were in favor of or opposed to this divestiture issue. I want to take a formal vote on that. And what I would like to do is, once we do, word clearly what our concerns are, what our opposition is, and send it to LAFCO, send it to the Safe Water Drinking Board, the State Water Resources Board, Supervisor's Office, Mission Springs, and CVWD, so that we have in writing to all the agencies involved why we are not in favor of this and what our concerns are. So what I'd like to do at this point is maybe put to a vote, and I will say, I'm going to just do a show of hands because I think that's simpler and quieter. A show of hands for everybody that is in opposition to the ID8 divestiture with the information we have at this point. All opposed? That's pretty much it. And anybody in favor? Okay, we'll count you, but so it's unanimous that we are opposed, and I'll have my counter. Please take care of it for me. Thank you. Well, no, I mean, it's every person in the room. You want them to put their hands up again, or you just want to count? Okay. Well, Cindy can't vote, and Connor's not going to vote.
I'm sorry?
Okay, everybody but
It's good exercise.
These are every grade now, because I can't see everybody.
You can switch hands if you need to get tired. You're not opposed?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, get your hand.
Are you voting? I'm abstaining. 27. Oh, me, 20.
All right. All right. Good? Okay. All right. So we will put together a letter, like I said, or an email letter. I'm so old. An email to send out. And Ellen, didn't you have a suggestion on the emailing issue?
Yeah, just list who we're going to send it to. So if anybody else would like to communicate with these organizations and express your own opinion, because ours will just be from the council.
Doesn't mean you can't send it. Yeah.
It's CVWD.
Well, we'll figure it out. We're going to do CVWD, Mission Springs. We're going to do LAFCO, Supervisor's Office. I know Pat will be thrilled to get all of that. But when after yeah, I'll get all the acronyms and the email addresses at a later time. Okay. And so I'm just going to say, so you guys can also keep your eyes open. We'll send out information of all the agencies we're going to communicate with in case you want to send something individually or share it with your neighbors who may want to have a say in this also. All right. So all those in favor? No, between the council. No, just for council. I gotta. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Is that right? Am I good? Thanks. Okay. So next, we're going to go to a little bit of nicer business, I think. Where is it? There it is. Okay. My printer goofed up, so I got to use the iPad. We're going to see if we have a consensus to vote to support. I gave a little talk on the Desert Dunes preserve issue that Oswald Land Trust is trying to do. We talked about it here. We went on a tour, and I'm going to give you just a quick synopsis, and then we'll go a little background on this property. The golf course was closed permanently in January of 2025. Nope, that's not the one I want. That'd be wrong. Okay, that's a long one. This is a short one. Short review. Desert Dunes is the old golf course at 20th and Palm. Oswald plans to turn 178 acres into a future nature preserve, which includes a 13,000 square foot education and events building, an additional 4,500 square foot building that they hope to use as sort of a tortoise nursery. to help the desert tortoise population in partnership, I think, with the Living Desert. Property also includes 2 lakes used by migratory birds and wildlife. It houses an abundance bobcats, skunks, quail, jackrabbits, owls, squirrels, and more. Sorry, this thing is crazy. There is an opportunity to expand this preserve to over 600 acres in the near future, and this is all within 4 miles of our community. One of the very special features of this property is that it has a wildlife corridor to the Willow Hole Preserve, that is the one that is on Mountain View, both sides of Mountain View, bounded by 20th and Varner. The cool thing is this connects to all of the following conservation areas: Whitewater floodplain, Snow Creek, Stubbe and Cottonwood Canyons, Upper Mission Creek, Big Morongo, Long Canyon Conservation, Edom Hill, down to the Thousand Palms Preserve, west to Deception and Indio Hills. If preserved, it adds, at least the 178 and up to 600 plus acres to our conserved land. This connectivity is of major importance to wildlife, plants, and the health of our surrounding desert. Every conservation group in the valley agrees this special place deserves to be preserved. I have a letter of support from Supervisor Perez when they toured it. And so, as I said, I gave a short presentation at our March 10th meeting. I think there were 30 people that attended the March 29th tour. I would like to take a vote to see if we have consensus to write a letter of support from the Sky Valley community. If there are any questions or comments prior to taking a vote. Yes.
I just want to add to it that the California Fish and Game Commission unanimously voted to make the western burrowing owl a candidate for protection under the California Endangered Species Act. That means now that the same legal protections are as an endangered species. So this owl actually has dropped in 60% in colonies in California between the 80s and early 90s. There are already largely vanished from the Coachella Valley. So now this is an endangered species, so it's a candidate for this. And by obtaining that land, this is going to help these birds to keep their habitat. So these 16 acres of land, they're crucial for the protection of this bird that is already endangered in the state of California, and it's a native to the environment. So
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll do this the same way as we did before. I would like to have a show of hands of those in favor of writing a letter of support. We've got our counter going there.
And while Lisa's counting, I just wanted to say something about the Desert Dunes project. The portion of that project that is going to involve new houses is currently being referred to as Movida.
Okay.
M-O-V-I-D-A. So I have a feeling we may be hearing that more around our communities. So I just want everyone to be aware.
Okay, is anyone opposed? Since I gotta.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
That's okay, that's all right. I got you.
Sorry.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to go ahead and write a letter of support?
I move, so move.
I'll-
second.
All right. All right, I think we're good. So I'm going to say yes. Yes, so moved. All right, wonderful. So now we're going to go on to item D, which is a discussion about the Sky Valley
It's a quickie report.
Yes. Can you just take it over for a few
It's a
minutes?
quickie
I'm running
report.
out of gas.
Okay. A lot of you've gotten a draft of a letter, which reviews what the planning commission's proposals are for revising the general limit plan, and then what the critique that was made with our recommendations based on discussions here and also discussions at the planning commission workshop. And so what I'm saying, so we distributed that, we sent that out and said we want to take parts of it that you agree with and send it to all people we communicate with, And then if you want to just sign on this letter, please let us know. And what I'm going to say to you tonight is, if you have gotten that long email, and you didn't have time to read it, but now you do have time to read it, and you'd like to see whether you wanted to sign on, could you do so soon, and then let us know. And if you did not get that, but you'd be interested in looking at that, please let us know, and then so we can, see if there is other support of people who want to sign it. So you can send an email to me, you can send an email to Julie, if you got it, have digested it, and want to support it, and want to be a signatory, or send us emails that you haven't gotten it but you'd like to get it, and we'll send that to you. That's it.
Easiest thing of the night. I like it. All right. So now we're going to go on to item 9, public comments. All persons wishing to address the council on items not specifically on the agenda or on matters of general interest should do so at this time. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Yes.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, neighbors, I've written a letter of petition to Supervisor Pettis, and if you feel so inclined after I read it, I'll ask you to please sign it with me and we'll forward it to him. Dear Supervisor Pettis, we the undersigned ask for your help in resolving some ongoing issues which are corroding the sense of peace in our community and causing harm to our physical and mental health. Traditionally, our community of Sky Valley was composed of ethnically and economically diverse families who lived harmoniously, respecting the common and codified rights enabling all of us to enjoy calm, desert evenings, dark skies, and maintain our property without burdening our neighbors with wind-blown trash. We ask for your intervention since now there is a trend among newly arrived neighbors of not valuing the rules, ordinances, and laws that pertain to excessive noise, light pollution, and excavation of land to create private dumps at the back section of a 5-acre lot, abutting the property of 5 other owners, plus illegal dumping of dirt on vacant land. All of these infractions are harmful to our well-being. Collectively, we have sought help for over 4 years from Riverside County Sheriff deputies and various code enforcement officers. We have been told and believe the recent lead code enforcement officer requires more officers to deal with the volume of open cases in our area, and ask you to fund and find personnel to get this under control. We ask that officers from the Sheriff's Department are familiarized with the section of disturbing the peace, so they are prepared when answering a call from us. At the March 2026 Sky Valley Community Meeting, a Deputy Sheriff Communication Officer notified us that their officers don't have the job of protecting the peace for us. This is false, since all law enforcement officers' job is to enforce the laws of California and protect the citizens of the community. This is a California law, Disturbing the Peace, California Penal Code 415. It speaks specifically to loud noise, maliciously and willfully disturbing another person by generating loud and unreasonable noise. As citizens in an unincorporated area, we look to the Sheriff's Department to help enforce the law. Last year, we were told to also call code enforcement if we were not getting results. We called both entities with complaints during the year because of excessive noise and lights from parties between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. In addition, pneumatic power, drills, saws, and generators being run through the night. Our efforts seem in vain because of the same behavior emanates from the same properties almost on a weekly basis. The impact of this disturbance on our health is evident in the rise of blood pressure, heart rate, and sleepless nights and stress-related illnesses among the retirees and other community members who who desire to live away from crowded cities.
I'm so sorry to tell you your 3 minutes are up.
Okay.
I'm sorry, were you pretty
That's
close
okay.
to the end?
I'm very, just one sentence.
Okay, thank you.
Request your help in returning our community to the peaceful, cooperative, and respectful environment that we all moved out here to enjoy. And then it's the signatures. If you agree, please sign it. You print your name, your signature, and email or address.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, any other public comments? Yes, Bud.
Well, it's about trash service.
Yes.
She said that people's trash blows, and my neighbors that don't have trash service, they don't pick up their trash.
Yeah.
So it blows over the fence, and then I gotta pick it up. Is there something that we could tell that maybe people have trash service?
Isn't there?
Is there anything?
Tiny answer to that. Do you guys know we all qualify for dump cards?
What is that?
So in Riverside County, they have in every area when you live in an unincorporated space and you don't have municipal like automatic trash, you qualify for a dump card. Our dump card is not even Hill. It's the one that's all the way at the end of Dillon by Coachella. So you show up there with your ID showing that you live here and they give you a dump card and you get up to like a certain amount of, it's like 2.5 tons or something. That you can dump every month that there's no charge. So sometimes.
Well, that's great, but I'm going to say for somebody that doesn't bother to have trash service, I'm guessing they're not driving down. No, that's a really good thing to know.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They go, hey, you know, it's free for that. Sometimes they're like, oh my God, let's clean it up.
We need that in the newsletter, I think.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
Can you repeat where the dump is? It's on.
And you take Dillon all the way down, and it's the one that's on the left-hand side. It's called the Oasis Refuge Center. They've got like two main roads. One goes to the house. No, you live out here. You go and you show them, and you ask them for their dump cards. I'll send it to you guys.
That's great, and we'll disseminate it to everybody. Thank you.
They give you show your ID, and they give you like a card.
Isn't it a law that you have to have trash service? You know, hey, Bud, if I'm not mistaken, it is a law that you have to have trash service.
I didn't think so. I thought you could take it in.
That's why a lot of cities will roll it into your property taxes.
Yeah, we should have asked Lamont when he was here. We'll figure it out. But I know, Bud, that's a problem for people. It's awful. I know. Okay, so I'm gonna rein this back in, Martin. I love you dearly, but stop talking. Cindy, did you have one more public comment?
It took me about 1.5 years to get CBAG to show up at our meetings or answer any questions I had about Varner Road, and a representative that wasn't very informed about what some of the issues were. He announced that safety corridor, they're trying to get the money dedicated to that safety corridor, which you may know is already 6 lanes wide and has all these shops and, you know, big box businesses and stuff, and the signage and whatnot.
Varner by 20th? I mean by Palm?
Varner between Bob Hope and Monterey.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
But they're doing a safety corridor there because of their death, their death ratios. And anyways, I got some updated information from CHP that you might be interested in. Langley had like 30 accidents between Langley and Bennett, just that quarter mile or whatever it is. Anyways, back to CBAG. They're proposing between Palm Drive all the way to Golf Club Road that they're going to have a corridor, which is Varner Road all the way, but they're not going to fix Varner Road between Mountain View and Bobo.
Excellent. That's great.
It's going to take like at least 5, maybe 10 years before they get the money all lined up. But in any case, if you're concerned about the condition of the unpaved Varner Road segment, then you have to go address Cathedral City in person. I ask that they assert their power over the area agencies that should have never been annexed
into Cathedral City. Right.
It was already needed improvements. It hardly has pavements. They can't fill it. It needs to be repaved. But Coachella Valley doesn't do paving. So yeah, good news is there's going to be a corridor that will be a good truck route that will be an alternate there's incidents at Coachella. Bad news is they're not going to have any, they don't have any influence over that 1 mile section that is so bad.
Cindy, you did it in 2 minutes.
I know you were
I'm impressed. I time everybody, you know. That's, you know, so good news, bad news. Thank you. Yep. Okay. So we're gonna go on, there's no other, right? Because that's good. Any agenda items for the next meeting?
So I have a second comment. There's San Pellegrinos out here.
Thank you.
I do not want to put them in my vehicle. I have pallets of them, so please take it with you.
All right, thank you.
Everybody needs to see the box.
Thank you. Okay, any agenda items for the next meeting? How about if we email them to each other? Yeah. Yes, I was gonna say, so this is, as you all or maybe are not aware, this is our last meeting till September, right?
Have a wonderful summer.
Yes, I hope everybody enjoys the lovely weather coming. And I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting adjourned at 7:56. Thank you, everybody.
All right.